Hello, world. This is what science tells us that we live in a multi dimensional universe. There are parallel universes, and everything is existing all at once: the past, the present, the future. There's no time, it's just time in this dimension. We call it linear time. Now, when it comes to thinking of your desires, also that we are entangled with everything. If you think about it like energy, or let's make it simple. Let's say you took a cup out the ocean, a cup of water out the Atlantic Ocean. This cup of water is still the Atlantic Ocean. I'm saying that to say this: if everything is created from this one energy source, then you are connected to everything in this quantum field. So, in time, and everything is existing all at once. Time, every experience that you want to experience, the poor you, the rich you, the struggling you, the unloved you, the loved you, the happy you, all these different states are existing all at once. You, in your case, are just selecting which state you want to be in. And when I talk about states, it's going to be a little understanding to this. But when you think of your desires, you are thinking of them in a distance. We are all connected. Everything is existing all at once. You're just collapsing an experience that you want to experience. I know it sounds kind of off the wall here because of what we've been taught. But the poor you, the rich you, the happy you, the wealthy you, all these different states are existing. You're just basically choosing to be in this state of whatever it is that you're in. You could be in a happy, blissful state. You could be in a wealthy state. You could be in a loving relationship state. You're just choosing these different states to be in. Now, you don't like that state, and you say you want to move to a different state. Okay. You move to this different state by not thinking of the state. You get your desires by not thinking of your desires. You get your experiences by not thinking of them, but literally thinking from them. See, if you are the director, you're the author, then the world is a stage. So you can think about the actors on the stage per se, or to experience your desires, you go on the stage. So you think from your desires, not about them. If you're thinking about them, you're not experiencing them now. And that is the key to this whole thing. Becoming now what you want to experience later. Your thoughts now, your feelings now is creating what you will experience later. You know, your thoughts, your actions, creating your reality. So, to experience your desires or what you want to attract in your life, you have to think from, not think of. You literally have to think about, like, breakdown. Think about what you want, and you say, I want this. Okay. Sort of like a director. He's going to draw up a script and say, this is the movie. Now I'm going to throw actors into the movie. Same thing with you and your desires. You think about what you want to experience, and then you just, like a game, go in the movie. And then start thinking from there. Start experiencing from there. And then, how do you create a feeling? Well, you create the feeling from thinking from your desire. You don't create the feeling by just thinking of them. You establish a feeling when you think from them. When you picture yourself inside, let's say, a house, and you're really living in there, and maybe the dog is barking, maybe you open up the windows and you smell the fresh air, maybe you feel the wood on the furniture. Whenever you're thinking from, you increase the magnetic power to attract it. Because when they say feeling is a secret, you think it's like, oh, I need to feel this. No, feel this exciting about my desires. No. You know what attracts your desires? I've said it's that neutral, that feeling like you've already had it. So you thinking from and thinking from the end, okay? So you think from your desires, that's one thing. You're in the house, you're living in the house and everything like that, and everything is just happening. You're really vividly imagining yourself from being there. Then you have thinking to the end. So when you're thinking from the end, you want to say, oh, I've got the house, and it's 6 months to a year later. How am I feeling? How would I feel if I'm 6 months into my new home, my cars, my wealth, my money? How would it feel? Would I feel excited? No. You would feel normal. You wouldn't have those stress or worries about anything. It'll just be a normal, relaxing feeling. And that's that state that you want, or that feeling that you want to experience. It's that normal feeling of you've already had it, and you're experiencing it, and somebody says, man, you got your house and stuff, how do you feel? By this time, it should be like normal. It's just a normal attracting energy. It's not no elevated, like it's on a pedestal, And so that feeling of that normal, of you already having it, attracts your desires. And so when you think of abundance and they say, how do I attract abundance? You have to become abundance. You have to become rich. Okay, let's break that down. It's not that. It's not that. If you want to become abundant and you have to think like an abundant person would, then that's what you do. You ask yourself, how would a wealthy person act? Would he respond or she respond the same way? Or how would a wealthy person feel? Normal, like they don't have a worry in the world? How would a wealthy person or an abundance person act towards this situation? And the more you do that, it's almost like, when I look at it, I looked at all our life like we've been acting at some point. At some point in our life, we've acted like we've had something and we really didn't. We looking like the shit, but you know what I'm saying? We ain't there yet. So we been acting, pretending. But this is not acting and pretending. This is choosing the state that you want to reside in. I want to reside in the state of abundance. Matter of fact, I don't even visit abundance. I live there. I got a couch and everything in this state of abundance. When I get up, I think like, how would an abundance person act? How would an abundance person feel? How would a wealthy person respond? All that. So it's not about acting like you rich and spending money. No, it's think, how would an abundance person think and react? And how would they feel? How would they carry themselves? You know, that's what becoming abundance is. And when you practice the art, this is the beautiful thing. There's plenty of people that say, man, I acted like I was rich until one day I was rich. Because you're just catching up to this future self of you that was already rich. That's been rich. You're collapsing time as you're going to get there eventually. You becoming this person and collapsing the time. So it's not like, I used to think that too, like, man, you got to act like this and fake it till you make it. No. Think of it like this. I'm choosing the state that I want to experience. So when I choose the state, I need to live in that state. I need to become that. Same thing with love. I need to be all the love that I could be to bring that into my existence. So when you think of it like that, it's like, I need to become a magnet to attract it. And how do I become a magnet? I become the thing I want to attract. I become my desires. And you go about it like that. You're thinking from, not of them. You know what I'm saying? You have to use your conscious part to think about it. But you have to establish that feeling, that normality or whatever, experiencing your desires. And it's like a tricky little game, like, you know, it's like you playing tricks with the mind. Because your conscious mind is going to say, man, you stupid. You about retarded. You know damn well we don't have this, what you got thinking up there. But you don't listen to that. You're ignoring the current reality. I said that. Ignore your current reality. So you can't live in two states at once. That's the thing that I was getting to. You can't have a poverty mindset and think of abundance. You can't do that. You gotta move all your stuff into the abundant state to attract the abundance. Because you trying to do this, you're gonna always fall back to this, let's say, poor you or something, and you trying to be this rich you. You know, you can't be in two different states at once. So you need to do whatever it is, or get your acting, whatever, get it on to make sure that you reside in this state. Don't just visit it. See, that's the thing. People, we visit the state. We at nighttime thinking about, man, it's going to be so dope. Yeah, you know, we're going to get this. We're visiting the state. And then in the morning, throughout the day, boom, 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 boom. Regular life comes. Regular life comes. Before long, the end of the day. And you haven't been back to that state. So how are you going to manifest that state if you can't be consistent and persistent in this movement towards being in this different state? You know, that's when I'll be saying like the journaling. Little do people know, when you journal, you get discipline because you do it every day. You get consistency because you're repetitiously doing it. And you get that persistence. Like, man, I need to journal. You're just persistent in what you're doing. And you're consistent because you do it every day. And boy, does that build up and tear stuff down. It builds up and tears stuff down at the same time. So those practices, like I was doing like for 3 years, just writing every day. And it tore down a lot, but built up these things that I needed later on in the journey. You know, I need to be consistent. If I'm supposed to practice or use a technique to reprogram, I need to be consistent in it. So that's where the help came with that. But I'm saying, it's not what you're thinking about, it's where you're thinking from. Okay, let's sum this up. It's not what you're thinking about, it's where you're thinking from. You're thinking from of it being in a distance. You're thinking about them. Start thinking from them. Use your imagination, please. Hello, world.